This is an example of what we feel is a very well configured pumper at a very attractive price. Again, this is a Velocity chassis built by Pierce Manufacturing, and we want to point out a few features to you on this unit. This unit is short. The overall length is 29 feet 8 inches front to rear. It's got a 169.5-inch wheelbase that makes for a very tight turning radius. Some of the individual features on this truck are, if you step over to the pump panel with me, this pump panel is 42 inches wide. It's what we call the Pierce control zone. All of the plumbing on this pump is stainless steel, and it comes with a 10-year warranty. If you look up above with me to the master gauge panel, you're going to see that we've built a little module here so the gauges would be tilted out. So when it's bright outside, you don't get the glare in the master gauges. That's another interesting thing. Also on the Velocity cab, we put a small compartment right down here to the rear of the door opening and below the cab floor. You can put small miscellaneous items in this area right here. Also, you've got a large entry door to get inside the cab, and in the rear of this cab there are 2 seats. And then there is also a rack built inside to store equipment. Now that's kind of a nice feature to have, but also if you think about it, on a traditional cab pumper you normally have a window right in this area. What we did was remove the window, and now there is a compartment here where you can store turnouts, BAs, maybe EMS equipment, and this feature is on each side of the cab. In addition to the outside access into this compartment, there's access to this compartment from inside the cab. A very nice to have feature. And Jason, I think, is going to try to get a picture of that, and you can see the hinge door right here. If you wanted, you could have a roll-up door, or you could hinge it in an opposite manner. Another thing, notice that the flat floor comes all the way out to the door itself. There's no step well in which to have your feet fall into. Now, one of the other features on this unit is Pierce's proprietary TAC4 independent front suspension. This unit is equipped with it. The independent front suspension has a 10.5-inch vertical travel, so this can go over very rough terrain and still give you a very smooth, a very good ride. Plus it's extremely durable. The disc brakes on it are 17-inch diameter. It adds tremendous stopping power to this vehicle. Now we're going to step into the driver's area, and in here we have our Pierce PS6 air ride seat. This seat is 6-way adjustable. The adjustment switches are on the front of the seat. Very, very comfortable. In addition to that, inside the Velocity cab, the dashboard is a wraparound style, so that everything is laid out very ergonomically. Everything is easy to access, and then overhead, above the windshield, we have our emergency warning light switches and other features. So we're trying to create as much space in the working area of the cab as we possibly can. On the Velocity chassis, all of the cab windows in each door are electric roll up and roll down. That's the only way the Velocity comes. Now, let's go to the front of the truck. In addition to the light bar on top of the roof and the brow light right in front of the light bar above the windshield, we have a hood on the Velocity chassis. In this hood there's a release behind our logo here, and the hood opens up. We have a number of features underneath the hood, one of which is a cab tilt control, and we have 3 windshield wipers to clear this one-piece windshield. What's interesting, we only have 1 wiper motor to run all 3 wipers. Very easy to access for repair or replacement. Here we are on the passenger side of the truck, and again we've got the same compartment behind the officer's seat for storage of BA's equipment, possibly EMS gear. That's a very nice feature. Inside the cab, and let's step in to the rear portion. Okay, Napa County, when they specified this truck, they have 2 seats in the rear, not 3 and not 4. There's one fold-down seat right here as we enter the door. That's an SCBA fold-down seat. And then there's one seat in the center. Now in front of us, again, we have the two large EMS compartments where the rear-facing seats would normally be. And then on the other side, there's a storage rack. Okay, a couple of features that I want to point out over here. When you go to rebuild a valve, that's always a little bit of a challenging job. What we've started to do is create a circular punch out in the trim ring around all of our valves. So when you go to rebuild a valve, rather than having to physically remove the valve, you just raise the lever, remove the trim ring, and you can rebuild the valve right there, much shorter in time. Here's a unique design for Pierce. We've got a lever style drain valve. No more push-pull and replace the O-rings all the time. Now it's closed, now it's open. You can put a lot of leverage on that drain valve very easily. Another feature that we have here is the removable pump panel. If you notice from this aluminum trim line here and all the way up and around, that whole pump panel is removable by quarter turn fasteners once you remove your suction cap and your elbows. Gives you a lot of accessibility into the pump compartment, just like the front of the pump module is left open for maintenance once the cab is tilted. We just want to emphasize that in our opinions here at Golden State, this is a well-configured, well-thought-out triple combination pumper. It's a 1500 GPM water-assist pump, 500-gallon water tank, 25-gallon foam cell, Cummins motor, 425 horsepower, and of course an Allison transmission. But this vehicle, the way it's configured, can be purchased at a very attractive price. Not a lot of fancy doodads here, just a good piece of solid, hard-working equipment. Thanks for your time. Bye-bye.